Let's wait till, yep, 28.50. That is perfect for me, mate. That is perfect. So where do we start? Tab Police. Look away now, really and truly. Green ain't even shared. We're going to circle back over this, but as you've probably seen, again, I think it's over there. Martinelli, Saliba, Saka were trying to move closer to getting them to sign new deals. Martinelli's contracted until 2024. Allegedly, with improved terms for progress he has shown under Arteta. Renewing contracts, keeping a core of the squad together is just important as bringing in new additions as well. 100%, really and truly. Arsenal have made a signing, though. Gio Quinros. Apparently, Arsenal signed Brazil winger from Barcelona and then loaned to Everton. So, yeah, big up the Arsenal ladies. You know, she was at Barcelona but did not play for the first team, made 13 appearances for their B-side. We have signed this individual from Barcelona and then we've loaned her out to fellow Women's Super League club Everton for the remainder of the season. So, hopefully, the Brazilian international, who has got 7 goals in 26 appearances for the Spanish club, who was when she was on loan at Levante, I believe, can do her thing. She has said on joining Arsenal, and to be honest, the more Brazilians, the better, really and truly, you know. Hopefully, Gab Jesus, who's done quite well with the Brazilian contingent off the field, you know, Gab Jesus, Marquinhos, every Portuguese speaker at this club, between the men's and the women's side, you know, they can help each other out, really. She said, I'm very excited. I know Arsenal is a great club. It's one of the best clubs in Europe. All of the players here are very competitive and have a lot of experience. So I'm excited to learn from them and develop. Arsenal is a club that belongs at the top, and with hard work, we can make sure we are there. Amen. Jonas has said, we'll closely monitor her development during her season with Everton. We're delighted to have completed this transfer. Gio is an exciting prospect, and we believe she has great potential. She was born in Brazil, but has lived in Spain and America, meaning she's eligible for the 3 nations at international level. Hopefully that meant there was no issues with a work permit. She's been capped 12 times for Brazil and won the Copa America this year. So yeah, welcome. Best of luck at Everton. Hopefully next year the managers think you're good enough to do your thing. He's been linked with, Kudus has been linked with Liverpool and Everton today, man. And, you know, he can play appearances for his 2 clubs. He's got, you know, 30 odd, 40 odd Eredivisie caps. You know, we need to see greater consistency and things like that, but he's off to the right mode, really. And Ajax, as we discussed, they will sell to the highest bidder. So it is what it is. We'll have to see. But where Mudryk, where Kudus, where Marcus Edwards, where any decent young winger in Europa League, Conference, Champions League, any of the top 5 leagues are playing, obviously we're going to be looking and identifying, and hopefully Arteta and Edu, when the market closed, we began the work to either confirming a centre mid/winger in January or next summer. So yeah, we'll have to see how that one there develops, people. As you know, Arsenal's game Premier League clash with Manchester City has been postponed. UEFA has rearranged our PSV Europa League tie for the 20th of October, people. And obviously a new date for Man City Arsenal will be announced in due course. The rescheduled PSV game will kick off on October the 20th at 6 p.m, folks, meaning the Premier League game with City has been cancelled. It was originally scheduled for the previous night, which would have been October the 19th, but a new date will now have to be found after the Premier League agreed to postpone it, people. Rather kind of you lot. Obviously, PSV game was denied due to a lack of policing because of the Queen's death. UEFA today announced that UEFA Europa League tie between Arsenal and PSV Eindhoven, originally scheduled to be played on Thursday the 15th of September, will now be played on Thursday the 20th of October at 7 p.m, which works out at 6 p.m. UK time. The rescheduling of this match was possible after the decision of the Premier League to postpone the domestic match between Arsenal and City, which again was on the 19th of October. UEFA would like to thank the Premier League and clubs concerned for their flexibility and cooperation in rescheduling of the UEFA Europa League match, which had been postponed due to the impossibility for local police forces to guarantee its secure staging, people. The Premier League said the Premier League has agreed with UEFA to postpone Arsenal's Premier League match with City, obviously to allow us to play PSV. So yeah, it is what it is, people, in that regards. And I know there were some concerns with some fans, we'd have to forfeit the game. That was never happening. Obviously, Arsenal have officially confirmed on the website as well that it's been rescheduled and things like that. Don't know if some of you were here or in the know, but obviously, you know, our game against Brentford on Sunday, I'll be doing a watch along. It's been moved ahead 2 hours from 2 p.m. to 12 p.m, people, noon. I almost said a.m. No, it wouldn't be that. From 2 p.m. to 12 p.m, noon UK time. I'll be live from 11 a.m. on Sunday for that. So yeah, man, I don't know if you knew about that. And Arsenal versus Brighton has been confirmed as the WSL opener. So our women's team are going to kick off their campaign against Brighton, people. The match was previously scheduled for Monday, September the 19th, and it'll be postponed though into this. So yeah. Oh, sorry, this is about the City game as well. You know, our women's team as well has also seen a City game postponed. Our Wolves fixture's also been moved as well, people. If you read between the fine lines, there has been a change to the original scheduled kickoff time for Wolves versus Arsenal on the 12th of November, as the game has been chosen for live coverage on Sky Sports. Instead of a 3 p.m. start, it will now take place at 7:45, people. So, yeah, things are changing. Arsenal's next fixtures: Brentford away, short international break, Tottenham at home, Glint at home, Liverpool at home, Glint away, Leeds away. So in the Premier League, Brentford away, Leeds away, Liverpool at home, and a North London derby. The games don't get any easier. It's time to stand up to be counted, people. So it is what it is. Bad news if you're hoping that Pablo Mari keeps it moving, you know, because Monza looks set to be fighting relegation early on, and they've sacked their gaffer. As you know, Pablo Mari is contracted until 2024. They have an obligation to buy him, but only if they stay in Serie A. AS Monza announces that it has relieved Giovanni Stroppa from the position of coach of the first team. The club thanks the coach for the journey made together, culminating in the conquest of a historic promotion to Serie A, wishing him the best successes for the future. So yeah, it's not going well for AC Monza, and consequently Mari, which directly affects us, people. So yeah, it is what it is. We already spoke about Mohamed Kudus, and we already spoke about Marcus Edwards. As I said, Kudus, who a lot of Arsenal fans want, he's on Everton's radar. I do think we got to let the man develop a bit. A lot of conclusions are being drawn off a couple of games. You know, we need to see the output. Even Musa Diaby scored yesterday. I know some Arsenal fans were hot on that tell. Smash the like button, people. He's desperate. Journalists. This is Zinchenko. According to Dean Jones, Zinchenko wants to be deployed in midfield for Arsenal going forward. I think he wants to play in midfield, but I think he's just happy to be playing games. You weren't necessarily going to start week in, week out at left back or at centre mid at City, and that might not be a guarantee at Arsenal as it shouldn't be, but you're more likely to do that here, people. He's desperate for the opportunity to play there. I hope we try it with Tierney going back to left back. We know that in his latter days at City, he was pushing for a midfield role permanently and just wasn't going to get it. So yeah, it is what it is, man. You know, I just think you're happy to play. Apparently, Romano has provided an update on contract talks for the Arsenal trio. A new contract for Saka remains a priority for Arsenal, while Gabby Martinelli and William Saliba are also on the club's list of new deals, people. Scrolling all the way down, talks have been ongoing between Arsenal and Saka since February. He's happy at the club and loves Arsenal. This is why Arteta is optimistic. For Arsenal, it is a priority. We will see the timing in the coming months. Martinelli is another player on the list for contract extensions, and Saliba too. Nothing completed yet, as it says there with Fabrizio Romano. However, well, obviously, Arsenal were confident they escaped forfeit in that game against PSV because it is going ahead. Apparently, Steve Clark has said something on Kieran Tierney. He said, I think Arsenal will trust us to treat their player properly as we do with everyone. Yeah, because the last time he went off to play for Scotland was great. We tried to treat them all correctly. Listen, my job is to win matches. If I need my best players on the pitch for all 3 games, that's what I have to do. That's fair play. We have to use them as we see fit to get the best out of the players. Obviously, we are not going to try to injure a player or do anything that's crazy. If a player is not capable of playing 90 minutes, we would manage the minutes and still utilize them as much as we could. And to be fair, Tierney could do with getting the ring rust out. But, you know, with Tierney, Tomiyasu, Partey, you're always scared with them. Again, Graham Bailey, this was the initial report I saw in relation to Martinelli, Saliba, and Saka new deals. Arsenal pushing to agree new deals for Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Martinelli, and William Saliba. As we said there, the talented trio are all out of contract in 2024, meaning their deals have less than 2 years to run. Pardon me, apparently Real Madrid and Man City are among the sides monitoring Saka, which Arsenal and the player are aware of, but there's a growing confidence that fresh terms will be signed before the new year. As for Saliba, 90-minute revealed last month that negotiations were underway to prolong his stay at Arsenal following a successful couple of seasons on loan in his native France. Obviously had a great time at Marseille, and he's flourishing. In relation to Martinelli, once again, it contains an option to extend, but Arsenal are keen to reward the Brazilian with improved terms for the progress he has shown under Arteta, who is anxious for all 3 deals to be concluded as quickly as possible. Sources have confirmed to 90 Minute that the director of football, Edu, believes all 3 deals are on the right track, with the Gunners hopeful that all 3 will have put pen to paper by January. Hopefully, they could sign new deals. We can get a centre mid in and maybe just a winger as well, man, in January. don't know what this is, but obviously Smith Rowe is going to be left speechless by a call by the national team gaffer. What's this all about? I think this is in relation to Zinchenko wanting to play in midfield again. I think they will have no problems with using Zinchenko in that position. He's desperate for the opportunity to play there. We know that in his latter days at City, he was pushing for a midfield role permanently, and he just wasn't going to get it. He's a perfectionist, a really demanding boy. I know him so well. And after that, he brings qualities that we didn't have in the squad, said Arteta. He gives us a different option to play with the role in different spaces, and I'm really happy to have him, as we all are, really. And truly, people, please stop spamming. It's not going to get things read. David Dean says the Kroenkes have steadied the ship at Arsenal after 15 years of blunders. I'm not too sure on that, but, you know, Arsenal man David Dean, you can come back. He said they made mistakes, no doubt. Bad mistakes over years in the transfer market and how they ran the club. But the good news is that it's 15 years since I left, and they now appear to be on an upward trajectory. The ship has been stabilized. We'll have to see, man. We'll have to really see. I don't know about any of that, people. Arteta said on them in the summer, they're on it. They want to take this club to a completely different level. They have the ambition, and it's clear there's so much evidence they're giving us all the support we need in order to do that. So you've got all the support. So it's purely on Arteta and Edu if any issues are in terms of squad depth and anything else. As I said, I don't think I can blame Kroenkes for this year and last year. Again, Arteta and Edu have a free role at the club, really, to operate within a framework. It's their job to make sure we get top four and better things, develop the players, and make sure the squad has enough depth to cope with the games, the injuries, and the uncharted areas that this World Cup season is going to face. Any injuries or any issues with squad depth, I don't have sympathy for Arteta and Edu, because you lot are in charge of the technical front. So we'll have to see. And it's clear there's so much evidence. They're giving us all the support we need in order to do that. So it's great to see as well now that there's a little bit of a change in that talk. And even our supporters and everyone around the world is talking very differently about what is happening here, said the gaffer. Apparently, Sky reporter makes exciting transfer claim about dangerous star Arsenal wanted. I think Amir Mir is gassing up the headline. But apparently they've claimed that Nkunku's to leave RB Leipzig next summer, and that was probably expected. He stays, he keeps developing there, does well in a World Cup year, and he's sold on. I mean, he can play in a bunch of roles, and there is a future for him at Arsenal with Gabriel Jesus, but I don't see us spending 60, 70, 80, 100 million, whatever Leipzig look to set to ask for the French international, on top of addressing a winger and all of these areas. So I'm not too sure I believe that. I think that's just trying to get clicks still. Liverpool may launch January swap deal bid to snatch 34 million Arsenal transfer target. Who knows? And even on that as well, people. Where is it? Let me go in my Twitter DMs. Because there was something else as well. But we'll get onto that in a sec. We've heard before that Liverpool may look to use Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain as a mate weight to convince Aston Villa to give them Douglas Luiz. Both Liverpool and Arsenal are in the market for midfielders. Well, Liverpool got Arthur Melo. We didn't get anything. I can't blame Liverpool, Roma, or AC Milan for all being linked with Douglas Luiz. Hopefully, we get him, Danilo, Tielemans, or whoever else is linked. Big up, C. As she has said, shout out the YouTube members. Let's make sure we're hitting the likes, not at 100 yet. You lot are disappointing. Unexpected high bills due if you ain't hit that. Mendes is trying to find a new club for angry world-class winger. Arsenal eye cut price deal now for the fact that his contract's running down. For the fact that we've worked with Madrid and with the agent Mendes, we're obviously going to get linked with Asensio. Again, Asensio, if he can get over his injuries, he's a good player, can play in a bunch of roles as well as out wide, can provide experience like Zinchenko, Odegaard, and Jesus to this squad. I don't know if he's going to stay fit. I don't know if he's a top target. And the wages, he's going to want to be near the top bracket of earners. He's 26. He has to look for a good contract in terms of length of the deal and finances. Good player, but I think there's many variables. Us and AC Milan and actually United are always linked with Asensio, and obviously Arteta is Spanish like him, so there's obvious things, and I'm sure Ceballos can put in a good word for us if that was the case, but I don't really buy that at all, people. Fixture chaos for United, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Chelsea, where they can fit postponed games in before the World Cup. Scrolling just to is there anything with Arsenal? Just want to see Arsenal stuff. Arsenal options. Arsenal might look to squeeze a rearranged game in as early as Tuesday, October the 4th, straight after the international break. They play Tottenham in the North London derby on the previous Saturday, then host Glint in the Europa League on Thursday. While they do play this weekend, their schedule is complicated by the fact that they have to find room for another European game, which will also involve coordinating with the Dutch league to find opportunities to play PSV. Now, we've obviously seen that develop in the last couple of hours, people. So I think that one can be forgotten about. Apparently, Arsene Wenger's backed us for the title. He said there's no weakness. I'm not too sure on that, big man. Big up Father Wenger, but I'm not too sure. But we are top of the league and remain there, remain there for a couple of weeks, an extra week or so, well, at least until Sunday, provided we can beat Brentford. I would say they're moving in the right direction. I honestly think there's no weak position in the team. Midfield, big man. They're young, promising players, and they've brought well this year. There's no completely dominating team this season, and Arsenal have the chance with the potential that they're like the fact that they can fight for the title, and hopefully they can do it. I mean, hope, man, hope. And again, the wounds are still fresh with Wenger. I haven't been there since 2018. After 22 years as a manager, maybe I arrived at the end of the road and people wanted a change. The club had chosen a different direction, and I can understand that completely. Sometimes you need to have a completely new staff, and my presence there could have been a problem. So that kind of ties into the debate we had about Wenger returning in some sort of role. So I stayed away completely to give the club the chance to rebuild a new connection with a new manager. That's why I never talked about Arsenal, never came back to the Emirates, because I didn't want to be a presence that is maybe not good for the club. You'll always be good for this club, mate. You can't mention Arsenal and not mention Wenger. You're not bigger than Arsenal, but we're bigger because of you. And a lot of the fruits of your labor are there at play right now. Come back, Father, even to watch a game. I still feel that my life is definitely linked with Arsenal. So I support them from my TV, and I'm also very busy traveling the world for FIFA. Even above the trophies, the most important thing you generate at this club is values. And on that front, David and I were on the same wavelength. I looked from a distance of time, and we both left the club in good shape. We were the first to build a new training center, the first to build a new stadium, and the first to pay back the debt. When I arrived in the Premier League, all the ownership was English. Today, we have 58 American people who own football clubs in Europe. You wouldn't have believed that 25 years ago. European football is now in the hands of American people who back then didn't even know the rules. Football has changed. It has now become a worldwide interest, and the Premier League is the place where you have the biggest love for football and also economic power. They have created a world brand that makes everyone want to come to England, but there is a threat because the other countries will not remain silent and clubs will respond. This summer, the net spending on transfers in England was 1.4 billion. The rest of the other four big leagues was less than 200 million. The difference in financial power is absolutely huge. True. Obviously, Spurs lost yesterday, which is great. Hopefully, they join us in Europa League. And you saw this picture between Serge Gnabry and Hector Bellerin. Gnabry looks as baffled as I am as to how Barcelona. Bellerin eventually got his move back to Barca. Wish we just sold him when they tried to buy him for 20, 30 million quid, man, rather than tearing up deals and the rest of it, people. But sometimes that's how life goes, eh? That is how life goes. So it is what it is in that regard. What else is there? Obviously, loan spells are testing. Omar Rekic, played for Tunisia and that. He's not had a good loan spell at Spartak Rotterdam. He's played just 12 minutes, people. And it's not working out, So we're going to probably have to revisit his situation. Really, he's not really making progress, but a lot could change. Nelson weren't starting straight away. Once again, City and Real Madrid are monitoring Saka, as everyone in Europe is going to do for every young player that's contract's running down until they sign a new one, people. Bellerin did everything possible for Betis, for Real Betis from Arsenal this summer before he moved to Barcelona. Allegedly, he had forged a great relationship with both the club and fans, and even tried to do everything possible to make a deal financially viable for Betis and their stricken finances. And he signed a one-year deal at Barca. He might just rock up there next season. So yeah, Jesus didn't get called up for Brazil, but he'll be back, won't he, people? Make sure you set your reminders on such as well, people. So it is what it is in that regard. Once again, where Arsenal are concerned, nothing there. And again, oh gosh, that is not it. That is not it. You can see me trying to download files of my old rant stream with Matisse to cut up clips for you lot. I actually need this, because I've been having to convert MP4 files and find somewhere I can actually download Twitch files, people. But this Ekrim Kuno guy, who seems to always be talking about Arsenal. Arsenal will try to sign Youri Tielemans in January. Mikel Arteta wants the Belgian player. I mean, whether the ideal world would be, him, Douglas Luiz, and Danilo, or ideally Tielemans and Douglas Luiz for a cut price. I don't think Tielemans, his club Leicester, in a position to ask for 25 million, but they might run down his deal. So hopefully, whether it's Douglas Luiz, Douglas Luiz, Danilo, Tielemans, whoever is linked in this midfield role, just make sure come the end of January, you have a midfielder. I mean, Leroy Sané had a good game. I think the only thing that I would say for Leroy Sané, I don't know for that temper tantrum, I do think when he turns it on, he plays some neat passes. Obviously, he's got 2 and 2 in the champs, and he was disappointed, rightly so, to be subbed. I think over 90 minutes, he's passing over 5 yards. He's playing tight spaces in comparison to the rest of the Dortmund players. And just in general, I saw that City isn't good enough. If Sané ever wants to leave Bayern Munich and Arsenal ever had a chance, I'm bringing him to the carpet. But I think that one's one where we always say the dream is free, the hustle is sold separately, people. So yeah, any talking points you've got, bring them in. But where Arsenal are concerned, people, that firmly sorts it out, man. The most exciting thing is obviously we've got a date for the PSV game, and that's about it, really and truly. And the City game's been rearranged. But apart from that, it's a bit of a myth, ain't it, people? So yeah, man. And you know what? I'm gonna add salt to the wounds, people. Liverpool or City could have had Liverpool or Arsenal could have had Haaland. Obviously, everyone probably looked. Liverpool or Arsenal could have got him. Scouts say some clubs got it wrong over Haaland. I would have got it wrong at the under-20s World Cup. He looked lit, but I thought it might be a case of a flat chat bully. I would have signed Lautaro Martinez. I probably would have signed Haaland, but I didn't see that potential. I could tell you about Mbappe and that. I saw it there. I didn't see it necessarily in Haaland because I remember him. I think Norway beat Tahiti like 9-0. In fact, that was a good competition. Millier, who's now playing for Leeds, was there, still has them errors in his game. Liverpool and Arsenal were among the clubs scouting Haaland as a young player and could have signed him. What was said specifically? The English scouts, looked at him as a target man because he was so big. I kept telling them he's not a target man. If you're going to judge him that way, you're going to be disappointed. True. I was thinking to myself, am I the guy who is getting it wrong? But there's always been this perception with some English clubs that strikers need to look a certain way. When they were seeing a big striker like Erling, they were seeing him as a target man. I never saw him as a target man. He never looked like that because he didn't just play with his back to goal. That same run in the channels he makes and that run off the ball when he gets in acceleration, I saw that under 20s level. Liverpool could have got him. Arsenal could have got him. Everyone was there to watch him, but these clubs were seeing a number 9 who was tall and broad. Oh, he's going to be a target man. I couldn't for the life of me see why they had narrowed him down that way. I didn't like him with his back towards the goal, neither do I. At the time, he couldn't really head the ball. I liked when he turned around, chased into pockets, ran between the lines, as I just said. His movement in the box, he didn't want to hold the ball up. He just wanted to turn and go. There'll be a lot of clubs kicking themselves because we can all see what he's good at. Yep. I just hope in a couple of years we sign either Tell Money, or he's at Matthias Tell, or Kareem Adeyemi over there at Dortmund. I hope Kareem plays today. Ironically, I haven't been following his progress since he signed for Dortmund, but where that's concerned, that seems to be anything close to transfer news, people. So yeah, it is what it is. Sane's always been more comfortable in wide zones, especially on the left. Unstoppable at City in 17, 18 in 1v1s. Much more technically inconsistent in tight central pockets. We just need Savic in January. You know it, I know it. We're not grabbing him. Needs Zaha. He could be another one available at a cut price, but I don't think Arsenal are going to go for him. Wenger does look a lot more healthier since leaving Arsenal. That will do for you, people. Looks like Wenger learned from Fergie's mistakes. You say that, but I think he didn't really, because I mean, Ferguson wanted to retire in 2002 and a couple of times, really and truly, and it didn't happen. But obviously, Ferguson lived and breathed football, but Wenger was just football. Obviously, Ferguson had horses and things like that, and he left on the right note, really, at United. Obviously, the Zahas, the Depays, or whoever he brought in them times, and Smalling and Jones, it didn't work, but he left at the right time. He left while he's ahead. Wenger probably should have went when we won in 2014, or definitely, what year was it where Mertesacker, Holding and Monreal, we won the FA Cup against Chelsea again, and they played well against Diego Costa, sorry. probably should have quit there. Obviously, let's be honest, as much as I'm a Wenger fan, it's like my football manager says, you never want to stop playing when you're ahead. And I think Arsene Wenger couldn't separate Arsenal from Arsene a lot of the time. And there obviously was a luxury, as much as he's emotionally attached to it, won titles for us, had to be an accountant, a scout, had to use himself as a guarantee at the club, had to pay off debt. He's done a lot, but I do think he leveraged that because he knows if certain things he did at Arsenal, when he always tells us Madrid wanted me, that club wanted me, this club wanted me, they could have sacked you for less, really. I think Wenger, I don't like to say overstayed his welcome and things, but the same rope you climb up on in life is the same rope you hang off. They try hang you from. So you could say that, but yeah, look at now Ferguson. Obviously, every now and again they bring Grandad to Old Trafford and embarrass themselves in front of him. But he's got other interests. Wenger's still in football. He's still working for FIFA and that. And for a long time, a lot of fans thought, what international management or them sort of jobs there, which isn't international management, they were for you really. So I agree, but also disagree. So now we should go for every developing kid out there. Find experience first. You got a lot of young lads who need to learn from someone. We need to no, I don't know about re-signing Laka. Same with Saka, who people have been very critical of, was the standard bearer in attack. Thought he was very young with even more room to develop. Hey, this is now the new Hope Plus showing levels. Big up TW and the YouTube members. Wolves versus Arsenal looking like Portugal, Brazil. Cancel the game till pre-season. I'm not trying to see Haaland neither, am I, man? Because when we have to buck City, somehow Cedric has to play, boy. It's long. It's really long. Edwards to Arsenal, indeed. Then tomorrow we see another guy and say the same thing. Amen. Big up the JA Tugs locked in, man. The dream is free. The horse was sold separately. Arsene Wenger wasn't able to adapt to modern football signings like Mustafi. How did that make sense? To be fair, didn't want Mustafi. Adeyemi's been injured. Don't think he'll play tonight. That's unfortunate. Would have been a good send-off in 2017. Again, you need to leave when the game leaves you. Again, look at someone like Phil Foden. Obviously, retirement is a long way away, but he's in his early 20s. He's won a bunch of things at City, gonna win a bunch of things. Who knows? Maybe one day Real Madrid or Barcelona or any other sporting opportunity comes available to you that you might say no to. And the fans will admire you when you're in your mid-20s and you reject that, but they're not going to show you the same loyalty when you're 35. You want a 2-year deal, they only want to give you one. They'll give you a little, and that's it. Look at Totti with Roma. I don't even know if he's gone back there. So this is why you should always do what you want to do, really. It's like Thierry Henry, you shouldn't reject Barcelona just because we wanted you to stay. It broke my heart. But once you turn 35 and so, you're just going to get it is what it is sort of thing. You should always, in my opinion, always look to leave while you're ahead, really. I got nothing but respect for Uncle Wenger, but he defo should have retired sooner. I remember when Pep was twerking for Arsenal, then Wenger extended his contract and Pep ended up at Bayern. I'm not going to lie. Obviously, we never know how Tuchel, Pep or Klopp would have worked. I think they probably would have all been doomed to fail. Pep is not going to get the money. Maybe Klopp would have thrived a bit because he works in less conditions. But them times there, the Kroenkes weren't doing what they're doing with Arteta at this moment in time. But, all three of them have won the Champions League. 2 of them at new clubs with Klopp and Tuchel. Whether it worked out or not, I do think we missed a boat trying to get one of them managers of tomorrow sort of thing. I 100% agree with you, really. Pep would have been a match made in heaven. I don't know if it would have worked. You're not going to get City Group. You're not going to get the money and things like that. A common theme when we're linked with new managers, especially when we was linked with Carlo, with Luis Enrique, with them household names. The reports were saying the same thing. Once Arsenal called, they picked up the phone, they listened, they were on it. Once you start moving away from the prestige of the club and how wavy it would be to manage the club, and you get down to the nuts and bolts, you look at the playing squad, you look at the money available, and you look at the quest that Arsenal want to go on, it's a myth, really. It's not worth damaging your reputation for what, really? So, yeah, man, it is what it is. Yeah, Totti got done dirty, but his wife's been freeing it up for years to Nick. Damn. Thing that upsets me about Wenger is now the Kroenkes are backing us. It's not like we changed owners. They just snaked him. Amen. I think if we had Wenger, we avoid several incidences, man. I think Guendouzi's still at the club. I would have loved to have seen a couple of these players under Wenger. I'm not going to lie. I would have loved to have seen Odegaard, Bukayo, a couple of players under him. I think we don't sign Pepe. I think Aubameyang probably doesn't get that new deal. Several things don't happen, in my opinion. Wenger made a lot of mistakes, but yeah. It is what it is in that regards. Great talking points, man. People, you lot are in top form as you usually are. Appreciative to you lot locked in, people. 118 likes. You lot doing the Lord's work, people. Thank you very much. Why didn't we get Ancelotti? Because based on the reports, them times, once again, once it got down to what you want me to achieve, what's available, and looking at the playing squad, it's not worth it because I'm the one that's going to get attacked. Really and truly, it didn't make sense. So hopefully Arteta, obviously Arteta's got a long way to go before he can ever be mentioned in the same bracket of what Tuchel's achieved in the game, Klopp, Pep, and all the others. But hopefully this thing works, man. I back Arteta all the way, but I'm an Arsenal fan. I think there's a lot of positives. I think there's a lot of negatives with him and Edu, really. I personally think if it goes down the toilet, I think Edu will leave before Mikel Arteta personally. But what do I know? Just a fan with an opinion, man. And his scouting was next level. He just didn't get backed. And I do think Wenger's problem was he was too loyalty to some players that didn't deserve it and weren't good enough, really and truly. And obviously, as much as I fuck with Wenger, didn't adapt to the modern game to the level that you needed to, really. The same way, he lived by it and he died by it. He was that guy. The very same premise he came into football that saw him do his thing in Japan, come into the Premier League, revolutionize the game, saying no ketchup and all of these sort of things. He didn't show that same adaptability towards the end of his tenure. And that led to that played its own little part in his demise, man. Man said Saka going Real, unlucky lads. We don't mind, man. Our star boys are on crowd. Big up yourself, man. Could be worse. He could, he could be out there in Germany, man, accounting pre-assists, 1v1 demons and that. I hear it. Yeah, I did see Todd Burhey's comments, and if I'm completely sure, I've done a video where unfortunately I just went through I just done a quick vid earlier today where I went through all the latest headlines and obviously Mendy's stuff, Todd Burhey's stuff. I'm pretty sure it should be out. I'm pretty sure it was scheduled to